Welcome to the Down There Where podcast. I'm Amy Milne. This is the show where we get loud about women's below-the-belt health from menstruation to menopause and everything in between. So many women continue to silently endure issues like endometriosis, PCOS, menstrual disorders, and menopause-related challenges without the proper support. We're done with the whispers. We're here to break the taboos, share the stories, and have the conversations no matter how uncomfortable. Whether you're dealing with your own health journey, supporting someone who is, or just ready to join the movement, you're in the right place. Let's get loud. 44%. That's the 5-year survival rate for women diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And here's the part that should stop you in your tracks. That number hasn't moved in 60 years. Not 16, 60. Women are still being sent home and told to stop drinking coffee, to lose weight. It's probably just perimenopause. And by the time ovarian cancer is found, it's often already everywhere. My guest today calls it productive rage. And honestly, I feel it too. Alicia Tone has a PhD in ovarian cancer biology from the University of Toronto, completed a postdoctoral fellowship in ovarian cancer genomics at BC Cancer, spent 7 years at Princess Margaret Cancer Centre, and is now Director of Research at Ovarian Cancer Canada, the only national ovarian cancer charity in the country. She is also, by her own admission, an accidental fundraiser. We love those kinds of folks around here at the Down There Fair. In 2020, she decided to run a half marathon and tack on a little fundraiser. During COVID, no less. Alone. She raised $1,800 in 3 weeks and never looked back. That accidental passion project is now Run for Her, a trail run every September that has raised over $120,000. And it has also built a community that shows up, cowbells and all. This is the Down There Where podcast. I'm Amy Milne. It's time to get loud. Okay, there we go.
Let's do it.
There we go. So Alicia, I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, you will see over Alicia's shoulder the beautiful piece of art that she has created. It just makes me so happy. It's so bright, and you're bright and colorful as well. It's like, it's gray where we are today, where we're recording. And so you're this like beautiful ray of light. I love it.
It's like dopamine dressing and dopamine painting.
Right? Yeah.
Essentially.
Totally. We're like a whole lot of, like, if people have issue with like backdrops right now, we're a whole lot to look at. But, you know, here we are.
Yeah, it may be a bit distracting, but I'll try
to. Well, no, you and me both, right? So Alicia, I have the pleasure. I met you this year. I walked into the gym at 6 a.m. and your friendly face was there. And so I've had the privilege of getting to know you over the last few months, but my audience doesn't know who you are. So please introduce yourself.
Sure. So yes, we met by suffering together, which was fun, which is a unique learning experience about someone.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously my name is Alicia. I am actually a Collingwood born and bred.
Cool.
Yeah, so lived in Collingwood my whole life, wanted to get out of there as soon as I possibly could, left at 19, and came back at 38 after having a child. So in those 19 years, I basically went to university and got my PhD in ovarian cancer biology.
Crazy.
I then went to BC to do a postdoc in ovarian cancer genomics. And then I worked at Princess Margaret Cancer Centre with the Division of Gynae Oncology as a scientific associate, where I ran translational research projects. So any basically research involving ovarian cancer or endometrial cancer as well. So once I decided that the fully academic route was not exactly the right fit, I jumped over to not-for-profit with Ovarian Cancer Canada. So I just basically have been working there for the past 7 years. And I've been director of research for the past 2. And basically what I do is run all of our national research programming.
Cool.
And I collaborate with a lot of scientists and clinicians and patient partners and funding partners, global partners, to basically just drive research progress against ovarian cancer and improve outcomes. And then in my real life, not that that's not my real life,
in the other parts of your life,
in the other part of my life, I am really into trail running and, as you mentioned, like going to the gym and trying to be as healthy as I possibly can within reason, all moderation. But also when I first got back into running, which was for mostly mental health reasons, but also physical health, I, in 2020, decided to run my first half marathon and tack on just a little fundraiser for Ovarian Cancer Canada just for fun.
Right.
Obviously, that was COVID time, so I ended up having to run it by myself. But I was really happy to see that in like 3 weeks, just a spur of the moment thing, that I raised like $1,800, which seemed incredible at the time, which
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, and so my side project, which eventually was named Run for Her, has kind of taken off over the past 6 years. So this passion project has gone a bit wild. We've raised more than $120,000.
Crazy.
For Ovarian Cancer Canada, and have really built a community of local individuals, local businesses who support every year, either in-kind donations or sponsorships. There's a crew of patient partners that always show up and cheer people on. There's also a committee of local women who are very dedicated and successful business women who are on the Run for Her crew. And this year we've actually added 2 of the daughters of those women too, because we want to really reach, younger generations and make it so that they understand, their body and not afraid of the word ovary and all those things. So yeah, that's like a very roundabout intro of who I am, but basically
all the things.
Yeah, all the things.
Well, and I think, we instantly connected, and then we also realized we had a colleague and friend in common in Becky Mitz, who works at Ovarian Cancer Canada. And then all of a sudden it was like we had the nonprofit background together, and then we were running events. I believe we were meant to meet for sure. And, I think you are meant to inspire me to be able to do handstands, and we're supposed to inspire each other on the things that we literally like lay on balls or lift things and go, this sucks. So,
yes, my fitness goal is to hold a handstand for 10 seconds. That's literally my fitness goal.
I love it. I love it. Well, the day that we first did it, I hadn't done one in a really long time. And I'm like, I literally started saying I can't do it. And then I did it. Not by itself, like against a wall. But, and then I proceeded that evening with girlfriends after a couple cocktails to be like, look, I can do a handstand.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to go to adult gymnastics. Yeah. And like, this is becoming a thing. It's
I love
so
it.
fun.
I'll cheer you on.
Yeah.
I'll cheer you on for sure. So much to unpack. Do I get to call you? So if you have your PhD, are you a doctor? I know that's probably an ignorant question, but yes.
I am a doctor, but I always joke that not the immediately useful kind.
But you're here
if we're
to do
on
it
an
long
airplane
term.
And they ask, and they're asking if there's a doctor on flight.
Right.
I'm not that person, but I have a doctorate.
Cool.
So technically, Dr. Tone. I don't like to call myself that though.
How come?
I don't know. Mostly because I work with a lot of clinicians who, I don't know. It's just like, maybe it's an imposter thing. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I just find it silly for myself.
Okay.
But I always just put PhD at the end because I earn those 3 letters. But
for sure.
Yeah. I typically don't call myself doctor.
Well,
Let's not unpack
I might
that.
just start calling you doctor. But anyways, and only so it'll create rage at the gym, and then you'll get to your handstand.
Yes.
But in your introduction, you said so much. So for listeners who don't know where Collingwood is, we are in a town north of Toronto, Ontario in Canada. And I moved here myself 8 years ago. And so I've meshed myself into this community and I love it. And I definitely, before I met you, your run is definitely something that I was paying attention to. Sometimes people call me a stalker and, I'm okay with it. If there's nothing wrong that happens, it's not a
Some
bad
light
thing,
stalking.
because I always like to
Light,
see,
well-intentioned
right?
stalking.
Exactly. Because I
Yeah,
always like
it's
to
fine.
see what people are doing in the space and why. And so I want to go back to Run for Her, but I want to, what you're doing is, and the research you're doing will change outcomes and change lives. And so what made you want to get into research and specifically women's gynecological research?
Yeah, so it goes back probably to when I was a teenager. Or a small child. I've always been really interested in like puzzles and figuring things out. Um, and I guess like science and math came naturally to me, um, as well as like communication. So that's funny. I ignored that for a long time, but it's funny where we are now. So basically, I was always interested in science. I thought I was going to be a medical doctor like every single other person in my freshman class in
Yeah.
university. They did the whole look to your left, look to your right, and like raise your hand if you want to go to med school. Um, so I think that was the dream for a few years in university, but then I started taking some really cool courses that like got me thinking in different ways, like pathology, which is like the study of disease, basically. Um, but I can't remember how I stumbled on research as a profession, but basically just the fact that it's one big puzzle and it's a constantly evolving puzzle was very appealing to me. I like to get in the weeds and do the like Carrie Matheson
Yeah.
from Homeland, like all the things. Like I'm known for a flow chart. Like I just love figuring things out. And
Cool.
so my grandfather. So when I was a teenager, I knew I wanted to do something related to women's health.
Okay.
As a young woman, as well as someone who struggled with different things as a young woman, which I'm happy to talk about later. And then my grandfather died of cancer when I was in my last year of high school. So I was like, well, maybe I'll be a women's cancer doctor or something. So, and then in my third year of university, there was like a summer research program that I decided just to try. There was tons of people I could choose who were in breast cancer research, but there was like one in ovarian cancer research. And I found that so fascinating because it was kind of the underdog. It still is, but so much more is known. And so on a scientific level, I was like drawn to that because there was so little known and so much room for like discovery. I could see plotting out of a career. Like there's just so much potential and potential for impact as well. So that's what got me into it. And then kind of the rest is history. That was like 2003.
And what are you seeing right now? I mean, obviously there's the overarching what we're both passionate about, and for me starting this community and then starting my event and you in your career, and then, like kind of backwards, forwards for both of us. What are you seeing when it comes to women's health research? I mean, I know specifically you're in ovarian cancer research. What are you seeing? What are you seeing?
So I would say historically, women's health research in general is like
Abysmal.
ridiculously underfunded, not talked about enough. A lot of research has historically been done on men because women, because of our biology, are too complicated.
Okay.
So they basically try to find the cleanest, most simplest system to do a study in to be able to interpret findings. But then the issue is that it's not applicable to women in the real world. So things like, I guess breast cancer was the first major exception to that.
Yep.
So breast cancer has, seen a lot of funds gone into research, and that has, you can see the correlation between the money invested and the attention given and progress in terms of outcomes. So
I love that.
so now, like, outcomes obviously there's always exceptions,
Of course.
but overall the outcomes for breast cancer are quite good when compared to something like ovarian cancer. But I will say, so in 2019, Ovarian Cancer Canada actually secured $10 million of funding from the federal government. And to me, that was like, the start of this big ball rolling. So between 2003, when I started, to that time, 2019, basically there was just an explosion of understanding from the scientific view of what ovarian cancer is. It's not just one disease. There's like very distinct different types of ovarian cancer. Not all of them start in the ovary, which blows people's minds. And screening doesn't work. Like traditional screening doesn't work for ovarian cancer. The role of hereditary factors, so that brings in genetic testing and prevention opportunities, and like, so the evolution of our understanding just exploded.
Cool.
So I think once we finally got that big injection of funds, we just started investing. Like, Canadian scientists in ovarian cancer were able to like do the things that they had been trying to do for some years, because now there's finally money. And then at the same time, like, the engagement of patients really increased. So when I first met a ovarian cancer patient, like a real human, because I was like, a bench scientist, which is the one in the thing that you think about in the lab coat and the beakers and the pipette and all those things. Like, you don't interact with humans, like with cancer, but you are doing things to understand the cancer. But you can lose perspective, obviously. So basically, and I think it was my second year of PhD or my first year of PhD, I was at an event, actually an OCC event, where a woman with ovarian cancer shared her story, and it just like punched me in the face, I would say. And ultimately, like, in retrospect, it obviously brought me to where I am right now. Like, it was like a big impetus. So, but that was rare to see someone with ovarian cancer come out and talk about their experience. Partly because it just, ovarian cancer didn't have the same, like, breast cancer events
for sure.
are pink and loud and all this stuff. But ovarian cancer patients, especially then, like, they weren't doing as well. They weren't feeling as healthy. There was not, their treatments were making them sick, and they didn't live as long, unfortunately. So that has slowly changed. That ultimate statistics of 5-year outcomes has not changed, unfortunately. It's still at a very stubborn 44%.
Of survival?
Yes. So 44% of individuals diagnosed with ovarian cancer will not make it for 5 years after that diagnosis.
Wow.
And that has remained the same for 60 years, 60,
And
not 60.
wow. Wow.
But in the meantime, like, that in-between survival is a lot better. People are, there's more targeted treatments that like help people feel better, have longer periods without disease, etc. So the evolution of like injection of funding, this is such a long answer, but
That's great.
anyways,
But it's so important. Like, and it's really, really important that people need, because, I'm going to flip it to the nonprofit fundraising side of things for a second, is people don't necessarily understand, like, when you said money to research to outcomes, and a lot of people want to buy the rocking chair for the mom to sit in sick kids and hold her baby in the prenatal, like in the ICU type thing. But research doesn't always, people think research is like just funded by the government and everything, but it's private funding as well. And we can
Yeah.
see, and you as a researcher and now as a fundraiser and an event organizer and myself being in this space is like, I was on like the ground floor of breast cancer fundraising, like individual people contributing, and what it's done in 25 years is unreal. And you said that,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
just the small but big gains you've made already and what you've been allowed to do by having, like, when you say 10 million, we did a weekend on breast cancer that raised 12 million. So it just shows how, like, that was one event. So it just shows how the scale is so fucking wrong. Like, really?
Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. Like 10 million, it sounds like a lot of money, but it's not when it comes to research. But we got so much out of that,
which is
because
incredible.
we like partnered with others and like we almost doubled essentially what the investment was.
So good.
And then because we had the patient partners beside us and like kind of like just progress being built upon. And like since then we've like we've made a lot of strides in terms of like targeted treatments. And also when I say targeted treatments, it means like based on that patient.
Okay.
So not just giving everyone chemotherapy and surgery, which has been the mainstay of ovarian cancer treatment for decades. It's still used in most patients, but now we have like more things in the toolbox in terms of like, let's, because this patient has these characteristics and the tumor has these characteristics, if we give them this treatment, it will make it so that they can go longer without a recurrence, for instance, or hopefully prevent a recurrence.
Right.
That's the ultimate. And so some people who, you know, like stage 3 or stage 4 high-grade serous ovarian cancer, which historically like would have had a completely different outcome. Like people on PARP inhibitors, for instance, they're living like 10 years, like, which is incredible. I have people on my patient partner team who've were diagnosed 20 years ago. So like there are, unfortunately, it is still the exception though. So like we're pushing, but science takes time for sure. And there's a good reason for it. We don't want to give people treatments that we haven't like vetted completely, etc. So, unfortunately, it's like you constantly need more research funding.
Right.
It doesn't end.
It's never ending.
So, yeah.
Like,
it doesn't end, and we need to just keep being relentless, getting
that
the
word.
funds, putting the scientists and the patient partners and the clinicians in front of the public, in front of government, in front of different funders, and just being like, we need more money because X. And money equals outcome, like better outcomes. Like it's a very
simple equation. But it's a simple equation. Right?
Yeah.
Like
it is.
It's my mom had ovarian cancer and she was diagnosed right in the midst of COVID. It was heart-wrenching because she was having her surgery and, you know, going through her stuff. I literally was sitting outside of the London Health Sciences facility, like in a parking lot while she's having, you know, by the time it was found in my mom, she had a giant like volleyball-sized tumor, and so ended up having a huge full hysterectomy. And she opted not to do chemotherapy. She wanted quality of life. She didn't do well as a sick person. Not that everybody does, but I think, you know, some people,
I know what you mean.
Some people do better, and my mom just didn't. And she knew that about herself. And she was like, I don't want to feel like shit any longer. And so we're almost at 5 years, and so far no reoccurrence, which is pretty great. They believed they got everything when they did this surgery, and it was kind of recommended that it was preventative because, I mean, you know better than I do, but it was, you know, the cells could be floating around just like endometrial, like all the things that could be floating in our bodies.
Yeah.
But my mom was like, I want quality of life. If I can't have quantity, I want quality. And that was a personal decision
Yeah.
she made. And so far, so good, which is amazing. But it was a
Yeah.
horrendous experience.
Yeah. And that is something that is becoming more and more recognized even by the clinicians, like the oncologists who are treating patients,
Mhm.
is that it's all about informed decision
Mhm.
making. So I don't know your mom's case, but like basically just understanding what type of ovarian cancer they
Mhm.
have, what other morbidities they
Mhm.
have, like other things that may impact how they respond to treatment,
Right.
how they, etc. Um, and just showing them, if this is option A and this would be the most likely scenario. Of course, you can never have a crystal
Right.
ball for a specific patient, but it's more, these are the probabilities. This is the most likely. This is the least
Yeah.
likely. And just showing them, the different options and helping them feel like they are
Empowered.
choosing what they prefer, what they prioritize,
Mhm.
etc. So a lot of people do choose less aggressive
Mhm.
treatment as other people just want to throw everything
Right.
at it, and they're like, just hit me with it. And so really it's all
Yeah.
personal. It's a personal decision, clearly. As long as it's informed, then I'm all for it.
Well, that's just it. And you have to choose. I mean, my mom, she's like, if I was 30 or 40 years younger, maybe it would be a different decision. But I've
Hmm.
had a wonderful life and here's where I'm at. And I don't want to be sick anymore. And so,
Yeah.
for the most part, she's got a wonderful oncologist and everybody takes care of
Hmm.
her. And she's doing the best she can with what she has. And
Yeah.
so, we feel good about that. And she knew it was a risk she was taking in terms of
Yeah.
reoccurrence. And she was just like, but if I get to live not being sick, then I'm good.
Yeah. It life circumstance and timing
Mhm.
in your life definitely makes a difference
Mhm.
for sure. Yeah, like if you're a 35-year-old with a young child,
Yeah,
like that's a whole different ball game for most people. So
agreed.
yeah,
Um, what is a patient partner? You talk about them all the time, and I'm sure other
I
people are
know.
curious. What is a patient partner?
So a patient partner is kind of a loose term that we use for basically someone with living or lived experience of ovarian cancer, whether themselves as a
Mhm.
patient or as a caregiver, like a loved one who
Mhm.
has sat by their person and helped them through it, whether that person is still alive or if they have passed. So essentially, it's someone with that lived
I
experience.
love that.
So it's different. So I'm doing a bunch of lectures actually on this right now, so it's fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
But there's different levels of engaging with patients in health research. So the one that people think about a lot is just informing
Mhm.
patients of things that are happening, like a researcher giving a presentation, for
Mhm.
instance, like this is what our study is, this is what we found, this is good for you to know.
Okay.
That's not a patient partner, basically. The next step is like a patient, participating in a clinical trial. So that's like someone is a participant.
Mhm.
You are undergoing the treatments. You are filling out the surveys, etc. That's still not a patient partner. A patient partner is when you get to the level of um, either consultation.
Mhm.
That's the lowest level. So you're coming to a group of individuals with lived experience and saying, this is my research. Like, what do you think? What do
Mhm.
you think I should ask? And how do you think I should do this? Is there anything that is sticking out to you as like not working? That's
Cool.
consult. And then as you progress, you get more and more involved. So the patient becomes, one of the team members.
Mm.
They're not a participant. They're like sitting at the meetings with the
Cool.
researchers and helping them develop the research questions and
Mm.
providing that lived experience context and like color to the situation so that it's not just numbers. It's like,
Right.
if someone is designing a clinical trial and they're saying how they're going to recruit patients and like what things are going to ask them to do. A patient partner, I've been in meetings like this, or like, no one would ever do that. Like, you can't do it that way.
Right.
Like, I think from being in clinical trials, I think you should consider XYZ. And so it just like keeps that
Human.
partnership grows. And so up all the way to the part where they're like, patient is leading everything.
Wow.
So it goes from like basically informing all the way to like equal partnership to the patient leading.
Cool.
So my favorite part of my job probably is co-leading our national team of patient partners in research. So essentially what we're doing, and it's me, another colleague, and then 2 patient advocates who co-lead it together.
Cool.
And our partners in it. And it's really about teaching them about basics. Like, they have very good scientific literacy, as well as equipping them to like be that partner. So it's like readiness and like understanding them so much that we can like match them to different projects and researchers that they're a good fit for, and
Cool.
like training them how to sit on a panel with scientific experts to decide what grants get funding, etc. So they're like literally have that decision power, and
Cool.
they collaborate with researchers across Canada, globally. They're like invited to give presentations as like
Wow.
experts.
So cool.
We're like co-creating research programming. We're co-writing clinical guidelines. Like, it's like they're colleagues at
I
this
love
point.
that.
They're not like,
It's
they're
the
like
it's
scientific trainees and colleagues all at
right.
the same time.
And it's
Yeah.
human. It makes all of it human and real. Like you said, when you meet people, like when you sit on the bench and do the thing, it's not that you forget there's a human behind the beaker, but you do sometimes because you're focused on what you're doing. And so to have the human side of it is so vital.
Well, in a selfish way too, it like keeps you motivated
Yeah.
because like the PhDs are hard,
Yeah.
and science is full of rejection all the time. Like, you have to get used to rejection. Like, your grant gets rejected, your
Right.
experiment doesn't work. Like, so it becomes quite draining and like hard to, keep that hope and optimism to keep going. So when you think about, the real humans that you're trying to help, it does help.
Yeah.
But of course, I like to say it's not just like putting a face to
Yeah.
it. It's like, it's a real like deep down motivation to help people and understand what they actually need, what they want, what they need.
Right. Because you can do all this stuff in the world, but if it's not helping people, like, sure, obviously, if you go find a cure and do the things and make outcomes better, that's great. But in that journey to help a human in their journey is real and now and so impactful, as you said. And I think that's really, really amazing. And I think anyone listening will like, because there's so much of what happens behind closed doors that you don't often know about, right? And not that every person can know everything that's going on, but what you're doing in this space with your colleagues and such, just to, have a bit of that curtain pulled back is like, it's human and it's real and it's being done every day. And
it makes science better,
yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah.
And researchers have actually told me this. Like, I've surveyed them, and they think they agree that like engaging with patients in this way enhances the quality of their research.
I love that.
So I call it my proof in the pudding slide. I always show it like
Perfect.
Look.
Yeah, here's the proof. And you said one of the things that you said, and we can segue into the other side, is there's lots of no's and there's lots of learning when it comes to research. And it's the same thing when we flip to the fundraising side. People say no often, but you do get a lot of yeses. So tell me a bit of tell me the journey of the side project. And you mentioned you wanted to do a half marathon, and then you started fundraising, and it's no easy feat either. Like, you've chosen researcher and fundraiser. Like,
It's an odd
like
combo.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I mean, I strongly support it, but it's like it's a whole lot of no's and a whole lot of heck yeses. So tell us more
It's
about Run for Her.
it's funny, like the evolution. I always joke that I'm like a accidental fundraiser, basically. Like
Most people are.
I'm not comfortable asking for money,
Yep.
etc. So my philosophy is that whole like if you build it, they will come kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So I tend to be an overshare. So I'll just share like
Right.
what I'm doing,
Yeah.
why I'm doing it. Um and I think like type A first daughter, like eldest daughter thing, like I'm not one who to ask for help, and it takes a while to like accept the help. So it took until 2024 to get a committee,
Right.
basically, when my friends were forcing me to delegate and get some help. But basically, yeah, so after that first year, I was like, oh, this was fun.
Yeah.
And so I decided that like either every May, because May 8th is World Ovarian Cancer Day,
Okay.
or September, because that's Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month,
Mm-hmm.
I was going to do something. And so in 2021, I decided that I wanted to run 50K because go big or go home or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of doing 50K at once, I decided that I was going to do a 5x5x50 challenge. So this means for a weekend in September, I basically ran 5K every 5 hours until I got to 50. So it was like round the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And I was planning on just doing it by myself. I like put it out that I was doing it
Right.
and like would like take funny photos of my like prep with all the outfits and the food and like all that stuff. And then people showed up and like ran with me, including at like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. My husband was the only one to run with me at 3 or 4 a.m. But like I got a text from one of my friends at like 2:59 saying like good luck and like be safe. And I'm like, why are you up? She's like, you're running in the dark at 3 a.m. Like I'm like, oh,
Right.
touche. Anyway, so people just like came to the runs and wanted to be part of it. And so they were all dressed crazy too. Like I had a big tutu on and like just making it fun.
Yeah.
So we raised more money that year, like 3,000 or something like that, which was again an amazing thing for me. And I was like super grateful for every person who donated. And then I was like, oh, this is fun. People like doing this. And so I decided I fell in love with trail running around that time.
Okay.
Just like that whole forest bathing philosophy, just like being in the trees, like being from here too. I think it just like, I
Well,
don't
we
know.
have
and
it. Like
just-
we have it all around us, and it truly is grounding and so beautiful. Like
yeah, it's so beautiful, especially like Pretty River, Provincial Park, and like Laurie Forest and all that stuff. So I decided I would like put together an actual trail run, and like made very rudimentary like race bibs and like got people to sign a waiver and like charged them $31 for donation to participate because 3,100 women are diagnosed every year in Canada. So I think like 20 people came and ran, but like so much love on like Instagram and like stuff. So I don't know. So it kind of snowballed from there, essentially. Just more people came each year. And more like community members and businesses wanted to support in some way, like get swag or like Lowdown has been doing a special drink for years now.
cool.
It was called Set the Tone for a few years with $1 from everyone going to Ovarian Cancer Canada. Last year was like Catch Me If You Cantaloupe, which I thought
Oh my
was
God,
hilarious.
I love that.
Anyway, so it just grew. So like went from one person to like 10 people collectively to like 20 something to 30 something to 98. And then last year was 170. So
Unreal.
And now I get more, like, I send out sponsorship packages, obviously. Not really expecting anything in return.
But you're sending
But a
them.
lot of people,
That is a huge win. I'm very proud of you. Like, that is
thank
like,
you.
you know.
Thanks. That's a big step for me. And so, but I have so many people just like saying, oh, I was thinking, would you want me to do this? And then I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. And so it just kind of snowballs and we do fun little collaborations all towards the event and the education around it. So it's not just like on September 12th.
Right.
There's like things that happen all throughout the summer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to be a part of it this year. And so I'm going to have to figure out how to learn to run. And then in the following
You don't
week.
have to run.
Oh, I don't have to run? Although I
No.
debate. I used to be a runner. And then I was like, I don't know if I want to run. I really like walking. I'm interested in trail running.
It's kind of choose your own adventure.
Okay.
So people can choose to run or hike or a bit of both or whatever they want to do. And they can choose the distance. So and everything starts and ends at the same place.
Cool.
So it's like 5K, 10K, 21, which is a half marathon, and then 31 because of the
31.
aforementioned 3,100. And registration is still $31. I will never change that.
I love it.
To be honest. So
no, it matters. Like our registration
Yeah.
fee is 51 because we're women are 51% of the population. And so like those stats, those things, I mean, as a researcher, stats are important to you more than they are necessarily to me, but that it ties it back to the cause. That's part of marketing. That's part of cause. That's connection, right? Like all those things matter.
Yeah.
And you need a registration fee. There's a whole lot of like on the fundraising side, why that psychologically that matters. People show up, that type of stuff. And there's costs to producing events. You're running a third party event in support of an organization, and there's no benefit monetarily to you to be doing this. It's a lot of time and effort. And that's where organizations like in Ovarian Cancer Canada or things that we're doing, it's so important to support people like you who are doing events for organizations because there's no personal gain monetarily.
Yeah, like
monetarily.
Obviously, there's
so much.
Like I get a lot of satisfaction. It like that cheesy fills my cup kind of thing. Like
it's not
really
cheesy,
does.
It's real. Like that's important.
It
goes back to what you talked about making it real for you as to why you do what you get up and do every day, right? Like there's people who care and you don't always know their stories or why they've chosen to participate in your event. And sometimes you find out and sometimes you don't, but it's what you're doing is clearly important.
Yeah. And it's fine. Like I tend to form very close friendships and bonds based on like a shared purpose. Like that's just how I roll. And so like part of it, like meeting with the crew and figuring things out, and we're all like excitedly like trying to talk and like it's just like so much energy and it's all, but it's so positive and like supportive. And last year I decided to like ask more questions when people are registering. I wanted to know where they were coming from, like what their connection to the cause was. And like out of 170 people, I think at least more than half were not from Collingwood or like surrounding area. So more people were coming mostly through word of mouth, and also because I was on the Peak FM like 6 times. That was like such a generous in-kind donation, and they're actually doing the same again this year.
Amazing.
So people had heard about it. Or their person or people who had done it previously had told them that it's a fun event, basically. So last year we had 63 people that were like loved ones of someone with ovarian cancer, and 5 women living with ovarian cancer, and also 18 teams of people. So like people coming together, the whole like power of community thing. So it's a really diverse group. And then you get the like hardcore runners who are like, going for the Gazelle Award, which I call it.
Okay.
I have different cheeky fun awards. Like I always say that like ovarian cancer is a serious cause, but the run for her doesn't have to be. Like,
Exactly.
it's positive vibes. And also with so much heart, and like we give the reasons why we're doing it, but it's just very hopeful and positive and fun. And so like the Gazelle Award is the person who does the 31K the fastest. The Grit Award is the final finisher, which I
Love
myself
that.
have won twice.
Nice.
Like I'm like slow and steady. But then we have like Spirit Award, which is now the Peggy Pickett Spirit Award, which is a nod to one of the women I've worked with and who was on our crew who died of ovarian cancer. And like the Christy Hamill Courage Award, another woman who was like local, did the run in 2024 after she like found it, stumbled on it like 6 days before.
Wow.
Got 30 people to come with her and raised $12,000 in a week. Sadly, she passed the following March, but her family still comes.
Beautiful.
And like they literally handed me, because I had a little tribute table last year with like pictures. And anyone could bring a picture and put it there just to like, you know, ground the day in that way. And her family was like, just hold on to the picture. We'll be back next year. So I was
Beautiful.
like,
Yeah, look what you've done. You've created, and that's the power of events, right? I mean, the fundraising is vitally important, and it's what we need to do to fund people like you researching and looking for us to be able to have a better quality of life. And we have to do it for one another. And, you know, fun people who choose to fundraise are often doing it for people, like they're either doing it for a loved one or, you know, we're raising money for people we may never meet, but the outcomes are going to change lives today and forever. And that is so important.
Yeah.
And then the piece that I think you've done extraordinarily well at is creating a community. And a lot of nonprofit events, and we're doing the same with the Down There Fair, is like there's power in people coming together, whether it's healing or celebration or sadness or joy. And all those things can be true at the same time.
oh, they all coexist.
Right? Like you can be devastated because you are dying or you love someone who just died. You can be celebrating you've survived and you've hit your 5-year, or you can be the person who just ran 31K for the very first time, right? Like it's all of it, but you're creating a container, and that's what I think events do. And I think it's also so important post the COVID world we lived in and where we are today is that, you know, getting out and being around people and sharing stories and hope and growth and fun is so important.
Yeah, there's like a palpable feeling on the day. Like, and so I used to run it myself. So I would organize it and then run on the day, which was ill-advised. Let's just say it was ill-advised. So I did finish it twice, but then basically 2 times in a row, I just couldn't do it. Oh no, one time I couldn't do it. And like I broke down at like 19K and I was like, I can't do it. And so the love that I got after that was incredible though. And then so the next year I preemptively decided I'm not going to run on the day. I'm just going to be there. And it was an incredible experience. It like just taking it all in, and like you'll hear a lot of cowbells related to Run for Her. Like we always have the cowbells and like cheering for everyone and like just standing and giving the like opening remarks, like just looking at all the people is like,
it's unreal.
It's pretty powerful. And it feeds me in a way that like nothing else does. So and I like to, you know, I've done a lot of teaching and stuff too, and so I like to see people understand things and like the light bulb goes off. And so just having people understand more and talk about this kind of stuff, which can be really hard to talk about.
For sure. And I think, you know, and it's starting the conversation too. And, you know, that's what you're doing and that's what I'm doing. And the more that our events and people and the things that we're doing are below the belt health as women can only get better. Like, it is a time, and the time is now, that we need to, not to say that we need to stop supporting breast cancer. That needs to keep going, and women's health issues, but our below the belt health, whether it be the cancer side of things or the endo or the PCOS or the menopause or the perimenopause, all that deserves attention. And I believe you and I are not competitors. We are both here, to raise all ships rise. And,
Yes.
I truly believe, if you, as a researcher in ovarian cancer, if you discover, you're in that area, if you discover something that to me, everything has a ripple effect. And I just think all of this, it's just like, I just feel this groundswell of potential and power for us as women to demand what we need. And then, through that money and through that demand, people like yourself as a researcher can start to like really get what you need in order to continue to change outcomes and lives.
Yeah, like it's not like a zero sum thing. Like we can all do good work, all make progress, help each other, like when like join forces. This is not a this kind of stuff is like we need all hands on deck, essentially.
Yeah, agreed.
And like just when you were talking, like the endo stuff, like that is related to ovarian cancer. Like there are some kinds of ovarian cancer that actually derive from atypical kinds of endometriosis. So these things are not existing in a vacuum.
No.
And it's important to talk about all of it. And like the menopause stuff, like if you're treated for ovarian cancer or if you're preventing ovarian cancer, depending on like what surgery you get, you can go into instant menopause. And so a lot of the things that, like hormone replacement therapy or HRT, actually is quite relevant in someone who has been treated for ovarian cancer as well. Anyways, nothing is in a vacuum.
No.
They're all interconnected. In wild and wonderful ways. Well, not wonderful, but you know what I'm saying.
But it is wonderful because, and again, I'm nowhere near in this space that you are, but watching it from a patient side of things is like, I've literally watched things get taken care of in silos. And having been an endometriosis patient and being moved from like, the stuff they would do and the laparoscopies to go in and look at the uterus and my ovaries. And then I was like sent to like a bladder and bowel specialist because it might be there, but like nobody was talking. And I didn't really know why I was now being hung upside down, whatever surgery I was having done, because someone was checking my bowels. Like none of it made sense and none of it felt collective. I mean, I'm talking 35 years ago, and like you said, 60 years, certain outcome. And I know that people 35 years younger than I am are still being ignored the way that I was. So it's like all of it is going to eventually come together, and the more that we're talking about it and the more that we're doing for it is only going to help.
So I see the time, and so but I don't want to have any podcast without saying that basically there's been this overarching theme of dismissing women. Dismissing women who come knowing that there's something wrong in their bodies. Unfortunately, this is the overwhelming theme. Anytime I survey individuals who've been diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and I'm sure it's the same for endo as well. I have heard that as well. Like just being dismissed. Oh, you're perimenopausal. Oh, you have colitis, or just random, you need to stop drinking coffee. You need to lose weight. These are real things that people have said that they have been told. So for me, and this is one thing I shared with Peggy Pickett, who I referred to earlier, it's really like caused me this rage, but it's like a productive rage. So my goal is to like take that rage from women being dismissed and like overlooked, underfunded, all the things, and channel it in a productive way. So my goal is just to make it remain productive and not,
Yep.
Perimenopause has also made that more difficult.
Yeah.
But just, yeah, productive rage is where we're at. And
I love that.
I think just holistic, looking at everything in a holistic way too.
And I think that is a beautiful place for us to end our conversation. I think we could talk forever. And I think we've been dismissed long enough, and watching all the work that we're all starting to do together means we're going to change outcomes for generations to come.
Yeah.
And there is so much power in that. And the productive rage, I think, is it's palpable. And, you know, anger isn't always bad. Rage isn't always bad. It's like, it's that groundswell of like, you know, we're here, we're going to take the risks. We're going to be brave, and we're going to be bold. And, you know, I wear my underwear to do these interviews, and I'm, you know, the things I'm doing because I need people to pay attention.
An introvert.
Right. And you're doing all these things.
I am a through and through introvert, but it's like more important to like put yourself out there and be brave, for a good cause, essentially,
and
for a good reason.
Demand better care.
Yes, exactly.
So, Alicia, I'm sure so many people have loved listening, and I'm sure I'll have you back and we'll talk about all sorts of things because we could talk forever. How can people reach out to you if someone was interested in having a conversation with you? How could someone get a hold of you?
So the easiest way is just to go to runforher.ca.
Okay.
Or you can hit up Instagram at Alicia at runforher.
Okay, great.
And so, yeah, I'm happy to talk to anyone essentially about this stuff. I could go for hours and hours. So
great.
Yeah, runforher.ca. You can find everything. I have a ton of educational content on there too.
Great.
As well as stuff about the actual event.
Awesome. And we're going to tag it all in the show notes as well. So I'm so grateful for your time. Thank you for investing it with me today and for sharing all of your amazing wisdom and insight and passion and purposeful rage. I love it. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for getting loud with us today on the Down There Where podcast. If this conversation resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe so you never, ever miss an episode. And leave us a review. It would help us reach more women who've been told to suffer in silence. And here's the thing. Awareness isn't enough. We need action. We need funding. We need change. That's where the Down There Affair comes in. We're a global peer-to-peer fundraising movement putting menstrual health center stage, from menstruation to menopause and everything in between. Diseases affecting men receive twice the funding of those affecting women. Only 11% of research dollars go to women's health. We're here to change that. Visit downtherewhere.org to register for our next walk, start fundraising, or join the movement. We can't do this alone. Oh, and follow us on social at The Down There Affair, because this conversation doesn't stop when the episode ends. Whether you're dealing with your own health journey, supporting someone who is, or ready to demand the care we all deserve, you're in the right place. Getting uncomfortable is where change happens, and we're never going back. I'm Amy Milne. Stay loud.
Oh, that was binge-worthy.